what it is. This is Brian Smith and Podcast on Wheels, powered by Power Loops. Today, we've got a real treat in the studio, Mr. Brad Lea. Welcome to the studio, Brad.
Thanks for having me, man.
Brother,
beautiful studio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Folks, if you guys ever see a studio like this, well done, man, you better make an offer on it. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's God's work for us. I mean, we've met some cool people. It's allowed us to do a lot of cool things, and meet some people and having guys like you. I mean, we can run up, meet you here in the parking lot, catch a show in. So, Brad, take us back to, when you said the bird was going to poop in your hand, or you lied about Disney World, or wherever you want to take us back to, or what's going on now.
Well, I mean, I can't believe you know about the bird in the hand.
I've been watching for a while.
Is that not crazy?
That's amazing.
That's when I knew I was lucky, and that's when I also kind of started believing anything's possible. For those of you that don't know, a couple friends of mine were walking home from school. We used to play this game called What If? What if this happened? What if that happened? So I was just being a smart ass. I said, what if a bird just crapped in my hand? And as soon as I said it, a bird crapped in my hand, literally. What are the chances of that? But anyway, I don't know where that came from, but ultimately now I am an entrepreneur. Obviously, as you know, I have multiple businesses, and I just spend my time hanging out with family and, trying to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it.
Yeah. And we've been watching your show, obviously, for a while, following you and looking up to it because, like you said, that energy comes through, that you can do things, and if I hadn't watched your show and a couple other guys, and it's like, okay, how would we build this? How would we design this? And watching and learning. So thank you for all that. And, going back to 4 or 5 years ago, I looked back in Instagram and when I messaged you, I got a response, and you cared about the success. And I used to own a car dealership and being in car sales and now insurance. I'm just trying to figure out, how can we do the most we can so we can help more people, and that's where we're at. So, got to go to the event at your place March 1st and 2nd, and I'll be back May 10th for the branding one. So those are the things that I'm really intrigued with the branding, because you've done a phenomenal job of that, right? So tell us how, the branding side, how did you do that?
Well, I was helping a lot of influencers build their brands. So I was kind of watching how things went, and I realized the power that it has. And I couldn't believe, the influence it gave some of these guys. So I just figured I'd start, doing it for myself. Well, when I first started, it was, trying to think up content that would either sound good or make me look good or whatever the case may be. And it just didn't really catch. And I was about to give up on it, quite frankly. I'm like, dude, this is nonsense. So my camera guy came in one time and basically reminded me for the third time that day that we had to create content, which was already aggravating because you have to think it up. And it's not as easy as everybody thinks. And so I was on a call or something, and I just looked at him and I said, brother, turn the camera on. I am the content. And I was kind of being a little bit of a smart ass.
Yeah.
But he turned the camera on as I took my phone call, and then, an employee walked in, and then, all these various things happened, and I completely forgot that the camera was even rolling. And so it captured all of this real conversation. And the way I have it set up is once the content's captured, I then put it on a drive, and then the editors go in and take whatever's there and turn it into, micro content and put it out on the internet. And because I had forgotten that the camera was going, the next day, out comes the conversation I was having with somebody and saying the real things I was saying. And that's when it kind of started taking off a little bit. So people want reality. People want authenticity. I think they're fed up with the staged, almost created content. So I try to tell people to be the content. Like, you are the content. If people would just put their lives out there, they would get more engagement. But everyone's afraid of what people might think. But I don't want people hearing me say that. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So ultimately, you just got to get past really what's called allodoxophobia. You heard of that?
Yes, sir.
It's basically the fear of other people's opinion.
Yeah.
And some people can, some people can't. That's why they say some people, have charisma and, they're worth listening to and following, and some people aren't. Well, that's not true. They're all worth listening to and following. The question is who do you attract? Because I think if more people understood the philosophy, they would embrace it. And the philosophy is, if you just put out everything that you believe, everyone's not going to like it, but you're not looking for those people anyway. The people that like it and, naturally resonate with what you're saying, they're going to start following you. And it might take a year. It might take 4 years. It took me 4 years. Nobody's going to do this for 4 straight years.
Yeah.
If you go back and look, at my climb, it started out real slow and then eventually started catching on because people, started sharing and posting and, hey, this guy's got a unique perspective, etc. So anyway, that's kind of how it all began. Next thing you know, I've got a couple 100,000, and then that turned into 1 million, and jumped on TikTok when it came out, and that's up to 2.7 million, I think. And people are just I think they just like the fact that I'm open to say what I think without a lot of filters.
Yeah, I know I enjoy it, and I know a lot of my friends. And yesterday I went to a local cigar shop in my town. And they said, "Oh, you're the guy with the podcast." I was like, "Yeah." They said, "Well, who's the coolest guy you're going to have on?" I said, "Well, I'm going to see him tomorrow." Okay. And they're like, "Oh, I seen his social media, and it's the cigar room there in town was talking about, and he said this, and he said that." I'm like, "Yeah, he's Brad. I've met him. He's the same in front of the camera, behind the camera. He's just a solid dude." But one of the cool things that I see, and I would like to learn more about, and I know everybody watching will, when you speak or you go to speak, the amount of people that you get to speak to at one time, or, some people have a scripted speech, and I've seen you come out and say, brush your teeth. I've seen you come out and say different things. And it's like, where does that come from?
Off the cuff. What do you feel? I believe you say what you feel. I've seen speakers that are really good, but if you see them 3 times in a row, they say the exact same things 3 times in a row, which tells you that those are presentations, those are shows. I'm not really much of a showman. I kind of just want to say what I think at the time. So I kind of just, right before I walk out on stage, listen to what's been said and why do I think people are there and what do I know that I think they need to know in order to help them advance. And a lot of these speakers are secretly selling something. So they have to craft this big message to where it fits to what they're selling. I don't have to do that because I'm not selling anything.
Yeah.
I just say, what do I think these guys need to hear? Or what should they hear? Sometimes I don't think they want to hear it, but they're going to hear it anyway.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, man, that's I believe what helps people. Sometimes, they call it fat shaming. Listen, I'd rather be fat shamed and cause it pain, embarrassment, whatever it is that triggers the actual result of weight loss than someone sugarcoating shit all day.
I hear that. We had a guy that I did a show with a few weeks ago, and he sat here and said, he was fat and he wished somebody would have said something to him because then they would have meant they cared. And he might not have went down the path he did with the drugs and stuff to get back to, and he's a bodybuilder now and he's a success story. So yeah, the truth will help whether they want to hear it or not, right?
They say the truth sets you free.
That's it.
Just like when I say the name of Jesus isn't Jesus, everyone freaks out.
Yeah.
That it's not his name.
Yeah.
It's not his name, folks. Never was.
Tell us about that.
Well, if you look up the facts, his name was Yahushua. And at some point they're translating the Bible and they didn't have the pronunciations and or words to convey his name. So they just made his name up out of the blue to get close. Well, you call that what it is. I call it making up his name. So let's say I couldn't say your name. So I just gave you one. And now everybody calls you by that name I gave you, when in reality your name was completely something else. And then everyone runs around talking about how close they are to Jesus. And I'm like, you don't even know his name. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because the first thing you get to know about somebody is their name. When you meet somebody, what's your name?
Right.
You know, people say they call me Bubba. Yeah, but what's your actual name? Oh, it's Clarence. So when someone sees you, yeah, I'm talking about Bubba over there, and people know we're talking about Bubba. But when someone says, how well do you know Bubba? You mean Clarence?
Yeah.
Shit, I've been knowing him since grade school.
Yeah. Well, and you tell the truth, and you're not embarrassed or ashamed of any of the things, but you know, how was that a switch for you? Is that something that you've always been able to do? You know, obviously you're a good looking guy. You've never had problems selling or talking to people or that, but at the same time, I see good looking people all the time that, you know, they're just kind of bashful or they're hiding behind their looks. So was there something in your life that changed that?
Well, just realization over time. You know, I spent a lot of time and money trying to impress people, and it really didn't work. And so after a lot of money and effort trying to make everyone think I was cool, they didn't think I was cool anyway. So at the end of the day, you start to realize you can't make everyone happy. And if you can't make everyone happy, well, then you have to choose who are you going to make happy. So you can make your parents happy, you can make your kids happy, you can make your wife happy. You can just try to make all these people happy, and you will definitely always fail. So I just, you know, I use logic. I try to anyway, common sense. And so I thought, man, if I can't make anyone happy, what am I going to do? Live in a state of anxiety or depression, or, you know, what do I do? And so it just dawned on me that, like, why don't I just make myself happy?
Yeah.
You know, and then I realized, like, a lot of people don't even realize that you're an option. When they're thinking, who should I make happy? It's always this person or that person. They very rarely include themselves as an option. Well, I included myself, and it turned out that was the right answer.
I got it.
Because now, man, I just walk around, as long as I'm happy, everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
Someone says, well, what about your wife? That's sad. Well, no, if I'm not happy, she's not happy. Right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, my best version of me is happy. Right? So to honor her and be the best for her I can be, I have to put myself first. I have to be the one that is happy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that makes her unhappy, obviously there's things called compromise.
Yeah.
You can compromise without being unhappy about it. You know, I want to go here, she wants to go there. Well, dude, I can still be happy going there sometimes. So people take it wrong when I say it, but I believe people need to realize that they can't make everyone happy, so they might as well focus on themselves. And a lot of people will think that's selfish.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not. It's not. I agree 100% because that's, you know, when I get up in the morning, I have my time before I spend with my wife, and then we've got 9 and 6-year-old boys, and then they get up about an hour and a half after I'm up, and then I go to the gym and proceed with the day. But if I don't get that cup of coffee and that walk and, you know, get that in, I'm no good for them, right? I mean, that's something that we do there. So
it's just like why I'm here in Nashville. My wife feels like if she lives here, everyone's going to come over and bring peach pies and have that Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, hey, we'll get a house in Nashville. Well, we're going to move to Nashville? No, we're not moving. We're not moving to Nashville.
Right.
But I have a house here now, and people are like, what do you like better? Vegas. Well, then why are you in Nashville? Because my wife likes to. And they said, well, I thought you make yourself happy. Yeah, I make myself happy by her being happy.
Mm-hmm.
If she's not happy, I'm not happy. You see?
Yeah.
That's contradictory. No, it isn't. That's the whole point. No, it isn't. Do what makes you happy, and making her happy makes me happy. Now, if it made me unhappy to make her happy, she's shit out of luck.
Yeah.
And if people are like, oh, boo, that's, you know, I don't, again, hey.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for a girl when I found her.
Okay. The one thing that has inspired me from you and watching when you started building the office in Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to when you looked out and you said there were days you woke up that you didn't know how you were going to pay for this, or you wrote the check there. So share a little bit of that, because we all at some point, right? I mean, regardless if you've got 10 million followers or 10 followers or how much money in this, we all deal with similar things. So, that's something that I've adopted, and some of my friends and even the team here sometimes looks at me like, wait, you're going to buy what you're going to, I'm like, yeah, we're going to try this. So, if I can get a little bit and be selfish here, help me how you've got through that.
Well, only because I try to focus on abundance. There's a lot of people that focus on scarcity. We're taught that growing up. You better save money. You better be careful. You better watch out. When in reality, I think to myself, what's the worst that can happen? And the worst that can happen is you go broke. Well, I was broke to begin with, so It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
As you start to gain a little more financial success, a lot of people will change their mindset because they don't want to be broke again, which will restrict your mindset to scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to just focus on abundance. First thing I do every morning I wake up is realize how lucky I am to be awake.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that aren't that lucky. So gratitude is really the key. I focus on simple gratitude. And it's crazy when you think about it. I did a video once and it went crazy viral. Like I see it in different languages.
Okay.
I had somebody send me a video that's in Dana White's group and they said, hey, Dana just sent this to everybody. And it went crazy viral. And all I said was, I was talking to these guys on a podcast and I said, hey, if I gave you $10 million, how would it make you feel? And they're like, oh man, that'd be amazing. And I said, but if I gave it to you, but you couldn't wake up tomorrow, would you take it? They're like, no.
Mm.
And I said, so what you're saying is waking up, just waking up and getting the day is worth more than $10 million to you? And they're like, whoa, dude, I never thought of it that way. And it's true. So again, common sense and logic. Waking up is more valuable than anything you're trying to achieve. So I just trained my brain to be thankful and grateful from the second I wake up, which gives me the advantage. Like every day to me is a good day. You don't catch me in a bad mood only because of that. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You go broke? That's no big deal. And not only that, I mean, have you been broke?
Yeah.
Was it that bad?
No.
Wasn't that bad. No. It's not that bad. Yeah. Like, it sucks, but it's not that bad.
Right.
It's not so terrible that, I'm going to risk everything. Here's the problem. Money is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have money and you're trying to figure out how to succeed, but you don't want to use that money because you don't want to lose that money, that's what's stopping you. You have now a scarcity mindset. And that's what happens. People start to win. They start to get a little more financially successful because of their mindset in the beginning is they have nothing to lose. I'm going to risk it all. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to freaking make something happen. Then they make it happen and they go, wait a minute, I don't want to lose this. I better start being careful. And then they stop. And then they can't figure out how they can't continue that growth. And it's because they went from abundant to scarce. So just don't do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't be foolish either.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, money is a tool. If people realize truly what money is, it's simply a tool to get more of it. So if you have $500,000 in the bank and you're wondering how to, grow and you're afraid to use that money because you don't want to lose it, that's scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to realize, hey, money's just a tool. Why are you saving those tools? Makes no sense. I use the analogy of the birdhouse. Have you heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you've heard everything.
I have.
This is almost like a rerun for
you. It is.
But at the end of the day, the birdhouse is a great analogy. You walk up to somebody building a birdhouse with a butter knife, and they have a whole shed full of tools. They could get the job done way better, way faster, but they're saving those tools. Like, you'd be like, what? Well, that makes no sense. Well, that's the same thing as money. But money, people think differently about because we're taught differently. And if people really go back to how you were raised, your parents warned you, don't lose it. Don't go back to zero. And if everybody could just realize money's a tool, and if I'm not using it, I'm foolish, I guarantee you they'd grow a lot more.
Yeah. Well, and being able to be who you are and just advancing in, around different people, I like to ask questions like this. Tell us a cool story that you've gotten to do, or something you've got to be on stage with this person or meet this person, or just something that you look back and you go, man, that was pretty cool. That was a time in my life that it, you remember, tell us a story like that.
Well, I have a million of them.
Right.
I mean, dude, I'm blessed. I'm lucky. Man, I can't even think because there's so many.
Yeah.
Like I've done so much, it's unbelievable. But what's the question? Like, what's something cool I've done?
Something cool you've done. Yeah. Something that, not.
Well, I told 12,000 people to brush their teeth.
Right.
I walked out on stage at 10X in front of 12,000 people. Everyone had all these scripted speeches and PowerPoints. And I walked out there, and literally to this day, everybody that went to that event still talks about brush your teeth. They don't remember shit anybody else said. Were you there?
No, but I did hear it.
Well, again, people talk about it. It went everywhere.
Yeah.
And I say to people, well, tell me what, this person said. I don't remember. Tell me what that person said. I don't remember what I say. You said to brush your teeth. And the context there was, there's so many people worried about the big things that they forget the little things. Mm-hmm. I would have people approach me and say, hey, can I get 5 minutes of your time? And it's like, yeah. But then I smelled their breath. And it was like they just forgot to brush their teeth, which ruined their opportunity. Mm-hmm. So most people don't understand it wasn't about brushing your teeth. It was about worry about the little things, and the big things tend to take care of themselves. But as far as cool stories, I mean, dude, I just have so many of them. You'd have to narrow it down. Cool into what regard?
A trip that you got to take, or a group of people you got to be around with, to learn from, something like that put you on an island somewhere, or maybe there was somebody that you were able to go there, and some people will tell me a story about they got to meet somebody or this, but I'm trying to think of people that you hadn't met, or something like that. But
one that stands out is like Richard Branson's island. So because I knew someone who knew someone, I got to go to Richard Branson's island for a little private thing where Richard and a lot of other high-powered, influential people were there. And it was at the time his space launch was happening. So I'm sitting there on Necker Island in his great house, watching the space launch with Richard Branson sitting next to me with his feet on the table in board shorts. Then we went and played chess.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, man, I got to think bigger.
Yeah.
This guy's sitting on his island in this magnificent house, which was just the great house. It wasn't even a house.
Right.
Watching his Virgin space or whatever it's called take off. Like, dude, that's huge. Unbelievable. And I, at that time, sat back and thought, man, what's the chances that I, from a little town in Cottage Grove, Oregon, would be sitting here with, a billionaire watching his spacecraft launch? But there's other ones I think are more important, like, being there when my kids were born. Mm-hmm. That's always been, I think, cool.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Grant Cardone, helping him and watching him build that whole 10X movement, which got pretty damn big.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always fun and cool because he attracted all those celebrities that he'd bring there. And I was always in the back. People are, walking around like they're just regular people, which they are.
Yeah.
But, most people would freak out and be like, oh my God, I'm sitting here with all these people. But I don't really think that way. Like, I don't think people are better than me. I just think they're ahead of me. Mm. So when I'm sitting there and I'm looking to my left and there's, anybody,
sure,
I don't go, wow, look at that individual. I'm nervous. And I just, any questions I have, I'll walk up and ask them. And 9 times out of 10, that's why they all take my calls. The other day I was sitting there with somebody and my phone rings and it's Tony Robbins leaving me a voicemail. And everyone's like, oh my God, dude, Tony Robbins calls you?
Yeah.
I'm like, he has. It's not like he does, but he has. And they were just beside themselves. And it's like, dude, listen, everybody, believe it or not, are just regular people. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
I've never met any, big time person that wasn't a person.
Right.
They're just a person.
Yeah.
Like you and me.
Yeah.
And I've had people come up to me and get all freaky because it's me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, dude, it's just me. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like I had this one guy come up and his lip was twitching, you know, and he almost was going to cry, talking about, can't believe it's you. Can I get a picture and this and that? And he was like, he couldn't talk. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how little do you think of yourself? Now, if somebody goes, no, he just thinks a lot of you. Well, again, to me, I think people need to go out and build their self-esteem and their self-worth so they don't think somebody is such greatness.
Yeah.
You know, if you said Elon Musk is coming in here next, I'd be like, oh, cool, been wanting to meet him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go, oh my God, Elon Musk is here. Oh,
Right.
I wouldn't
Right.
do that.
Right.
I never have. And I don't know why that is. It's just, that's the way it is. But yeah, I've had a lot of cool experiences. And most are like none that everybody else would think. Like one time I was in Vegas and I had a buddy named Adnan, and he was claiming that he knew James Caan. And I'm driving by the Crazy Horse, which is a strip club.
Yeah.
And I was just bullshitting him because I thought he was full of shit in the first place. And he said, you know, Jimmy, he called him. Jimmy's in town. You know, he's somewhere. I said, well, if he's anywhere, he's probably right there. He said, pull in, let's go see. I'm like, okay. So I pull in. We walk in. Dude, James Caan sitting right over there. And I said, bro, there's James right there. He looks over, he starts walking over there, and I'm thinking, no way does this guy actually know him.
Yeah.
And he did. They hugged, and they're like, what's up? Next thing you know, we're at James Caan's hotel room. They go in the back. I think they're doing coke.
Yeah.
But they're in the back. I'm sitting in the living room, and the door knocks. I open the door. Chris Rock. He says, James here? Yeah, he's in the back.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. Everyone keeps going to the back room. I'm not going to the back room.
Yeah.
Number one, I don't do drugs. Number two, I wasn't invited, but, you know, so I'm sitting there. Door knocks. Bud Bundy his name's David Faustino.
Yeah.
Bud Bundy from Married with Children's knocking at the door. I open the door. There's Bud Bundy. He walks in. I'm like, dude. Now that's surreal.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Chris Rock just walked by. Bud Bundy just walked by.
Right.
I know that and I don't want to like cause any
Sure.
rumors. I don't know what they were doing because I was not back there.
Right.
But they all kept going back to James's room where everybody else was. And they'd come out all exhilarated.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were doing. I don't know if it was a P. Diddy party or what, but that was surreal. That was kind of cool in a way. But hanging out with James, we'd go down to the casino and everybody swarmed him. And, you know, one time I got a starring role in a movie and I was on set and, you know, I was the lead character. Never came out or anything, but we were on set and I was the lead character. So like everybody would come by and, you know, want my autograph, and you know that was cool.
Yeah,
good for the ego.
Yeah,
but you know, there's so many, dude. One time I caught a salmon with my hands. We went down to the river, and there was this what looked like wiggling rocks. I'm like, what is that? And someone says, it's a fish. So I reach down and I grab it. And I throw it out of the water real quick, and it was like a 3-foot salmon.
Yeah,
and I walked it home, you know, brought it home, caught it, brought it home without a fishing pole.
Yeah.
My mom couldn't believe it. She loved salmon. That was cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could go for days.
Step into the future with Power Loops, the king of off-grid power, where our proprietary system is changing the game of energy. This isn't just power, it's freedom. The freedom to live, work, and play anywhere, powered by our innovative technology that taps into the Earth's natural energy. Our system is designed for efficiency, durability, and sustainability, ensuring that you have reliable power 365 days a year without harming the planet. Whether you're traveling in the RV, the remote wilderness, or just opting out of traditional power grids, Power Loops provides the ultimate solution. Join us in leading the charge towards a cleaner, greener, and more empowered world. Power Loops, the king of off-grid energy.
Well, the one thing you said, you know, one of the coolest things is being there when your kids are born.
Yeah.
You know, so in your relationship with your family, and that, like you said, that's part of the reason you're in Nashville, and you're girls are younger now, right?
Yep. Well, I have
kids,
two older
right.
ones that are 37,
Okay.
35.
Okay.
And then I have 3 younger ones, which are almost 11, 9, and 2.
So what's a day with Brad and the younger ones like? Like, what do
Depends
y'all
on
get
where
to do?
we are.
Sure.
Normally I'll get up, hit the gym. They're still sleeping. I get up, do my morning routine, come back. They're just waking up. Sometimes they're not even awake, and I go to work, and then I come home. So to me, I'm still grinding, so I don't get to spend as much time as I want. But, I think I'm being a little too soft. I wish I could tighten it up a little bit, like iPads, iPhones. The other day, yesterday, I flipped out because Grandma was giving them Fruit Loops. You know what's in Fruit Loops?
But tell me. Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a bunch of junk.
Chemicals.
Yeah.
Like, you love your kid and you're letting them eat Fruit Loops. Well, why do we let them eat Fruit Loops? So they don't cry and freak out and throw the eggs against the wall.
Yeah.
Same thing with iPads. Parents give their kids iPads to basically keep them busy so they don't have to pay attention and deal with them. And we are the same. And so, I'm restricting that more and more because, again, to me, it's just like that's the easy way out. And I fall victim to it just like everyone else does. But it just depends on the day. We spend a lot of time together, run around, have fun. We have a good relationship. My first set of kids, I wasn't really around much. I was 17, irresponsible. So I didn't really get to raise them. Their moms did. I got them when they were 14. And then I wanted to be their friend because I wasn't there in the first 14 years. And so that kind of backfired because, you need to be a parent, not a friend. Then I got married and had 2 boys. Same thing with that. Still wanted to be their friend, wanted to be their buddy. Now I'm not as much of a buddy as I am a parent. So
cool. And
but family's important, dude.
Yeah.
Relationships are what's important.
Yeah.
Because if you were on the deathbed right now, I promise you, nothing would matter. Your business doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. You're going to start missing people and being sad about the relationships that you're going to miss.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, if you think about every dollar you've ever received, it's come from a relationship of some kind.
Right.
Think about where your money comes from and track it back down. It's coming from a relationship of some kind. So the key to life, I believe, is relationships. So if you put money over relationships, I say soon you're going to have neither. If you put relationships over money, you're going to be just fine.
And I can go back to, we were on a Zoom call and you were a guest of Nick Hyder's on a brand accelerator call end of last year. And, you asked the guy, tell me your definition of success. And I'm like, if he asks me, I got to come up with something good. I got to say something. And right now, if my Instagram, a lot of times I'm putting RAE, relationships and energy, and that's for success for me right now, because that's, to have you in the studio today, I didn't get because I wrote a check for it. I couldn't do this, but it was those relationships that I've been able to build. And it's like, okay, how can I help over here and give the energy back and approaching every opportunity like that? So, that because I was a baseball coach. All right. I played a little baseball, played some pro ball and got to coach. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, well, I can call and get this field over here because, we have a beautiful minor league park in Madison for the AA for the Angels. And during COVID, the college coaches couldn't come watch the kids and there was some stuff. So I went, well, what could I do? So we did a live stream baseball showcase. So we were creative there. But then the relationships allowed me to get people to actually watch, and the college coaches. And all 40 of those kids that came and participated went on and played college ball, which was the ultimate goal. So, to hear you say that, it just reiterated that in me last year. And it's like, okay, well, how do we do that? Well, you talk to people, right? You go up and meet people. So, thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. I think more people need to understand the value of relationships. And a lot of people will ask me when I say it, how do you establish and build these relationships? And in reality, first relationship that most people need to go create and nurture is the one they have with themselves. See, if I'm meeting other people and I don't like myself, okay, you're going to have issues. So the first relationship one needs to go create and nurture and build is the one with ourselves. So that way, by the time I meet you or a potential spouse or whomever, I already love myself, right? And it makes a huge difference. You know what you tolerate, you know what you won't. You can provide value because you're in a place that most people never reach. I mean, there's people out there, bro, they don't like themselves, which is inherently why they can't build any good relationships. Mm-hmm. I've had people say, dude, relationships, everyone tries to screw you. Everyone tries to screw you.
Yeah.
Like, where are you getting that from? Well, in their experience, everybody tries to screw them. I don't, have I been taken advantage of? Sure. Yeah. But all my relationships are not trying to screw me.
Right.
I think that's a again, scarce mindset.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, there's only, in my opinion, one thing more important than relationships: health. Because if you were stricken, mm-hmm. you would give up all your money and all your businesses to get back to healthy. Secondarily is relationships, because without your health, dude, your relationships are worthless anyway. You're dead. So health, then relationships, then money. That should be people's priority, but it isn't. You know, people say, Brad, you smoke cigars. How could you say that? First of all, I get checked out. I am wonderfully healthy.
Yeah.
I do not inhale those things. Worst case scenario, they make me stink.
Yeah.
But if they are actually ruining my health, I'd chuck them in 5 seconds. Because health is important to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about abs, bro.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people with abs, they're not that healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Abs is not a direct correlation to health. I'm talking about health, like, you know, get a Whoop and, mm-hmm. and yo, you got
yep.
one? I brought mine, but I forgot the charger. so now it's dead.
Gotcha.
But like my HRV the other night was 102. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, that's huge. That's kick ass.
Yeah.
My resting heart rate's like 48.
Wow.
Like
that's impressive.
That's healthy shit.
Yeah.
Bro. And again, why? I don't know. You know, I work out a little bit, but you know, I'm definitely not, you know, flawless in the
sure.
physical department, but dude, I'm healthy.
But is your health not directly related to your mindset? And if you're happy, I mean, that's what I'm seeing here.
It's I think stress is a silent killer. A lot of people are stressed. They don't realize how much harm that does to them. Mm-hmm. The quality of life. Like, dude, I'm just chilling. Everything's wonderful.
Yeah.
When people ask me, you know, how are things? I'm like, dude, that is a wasted question with me. You already know it's good.
Yeah.
I'm the one driving.
Yeah.
How would it be bad if I'm the one driving?
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense to me. But, you know, is there, you know, with me and somebody, you got a podcast, obviously, and thank you for letting us use a backdrop here on the TV. But like,
they're going to think it's mine.
Well, wow. It could be. It could. And we'll send it to you.
Which again, I might get one of these only because a lot of times people have said, you know, I can't make it there, like, you know, mm-hmm. famous people. And
yeah.
If I had this just to bring up a block from their office or something,
yeah,
I would do that.
We've had this parked in.
I'd want 3 of those though.
Yeah,
those AC units.
Well, that's the next, and I don't know all the terminology here, but there's a split unit that can do heat and air, and we can run the vent ducts underneath. The fans are in the garage, but that's next.
Yeah, I just make sure wherever I went, it was nice and chilly in there.
Yeah, and the audio would be better if we had that off. But as far as us building this, and that was kind of the basis for it, because we've parked, you know, next door to Hyder's office. I've been out to Alfano's 50 acres. We just parked out in the middle of the field, and he's out doing Zoom calls off of our Wi-Fi. And we're sitting in there doing shows.
Dude, you can bring these to these events.
Yeah.
You ever bring them to the events?
We have not, because like I said, we just got it built. January was our first one. All right. And then, but there's a comedian lady, Shonda Pierce. She's a Christian comedian. She's the number one all-time money generated in female comedians. she was performing at a church in our town. So I had a relationship with the guys in the church, and we were able to park across the street. So she got off of her bus, she was brought in, and she did a 15-minute show, and she goes, you just brought it up here. And I said, yeah.
And it's all set up. There's no breakdown, set up.
No. We just pulled this together when we traveled.
A lot of the expenses to podcasting is the breakdown, the setup of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is awesome. Anybody that hasn't seen this should inquire. And like I said when I walked in, you should sell these.
Yeah.
They're custom builds, so you get a deposit, boom, knock them out. I could probably get 5-10 of these sold for you. Nothing major, but
we can definitely talk about that. And that's, that's our next. It's what piece do we venture into next? Is it because when you can run them off the solar as well and not have to hook up, because we were at the Omni Hotel in Asheville, North Carolina. And I don't know if you've ever been there, beautiful place. But at that point, the solar hadn't been hooked up yet. So the generator made a ridiculous noise. And so you're at 5-star and people are like, hey, what is a generator doing on out in the parking lot? Somebody trying to sleep out there. So I'm like, no. And I brought the managers in and they're like, wow, how did you do all this? And I'm like, we're sitting there one night having a conversation. And it's like, how can I get to the people? How can I get out there? So I got a truck that can pull it. And we just rock and roll. So yeah, the events and selling them, getting them built.
Well, even in a non-trailer, like whoever did this, does this guy do it?
Oh yeah, that guy right there did it.
Like everything's wired in, dialed in.
Right here's all the wires for all the lights.
Yeah, you got neon.
Going to the conduit.
You got you got the black ceiling.
Yeah.
Have you just come build this in my studio, let alone trailer?
Yes.
We can be there. We can be there. So he was looking at a place the other day. I was doing an assessment for Coach Burt's place and looking at some other things and how, because you come in here and it's different. It's a vibe. And one story that I did want to tell you while you were here is when I ordered that couch, I said, when Brad comes in here, I want him to be impressed with this side as well. The couch, the way it's set up,
Yeah, well, I am. It's badass.
I love it. So, yeah.
Yes, I would give this a 10 out of 10. I would say that like I would rock this.
Yeah.
And I'm picky.
Yeah.
Have you been to my office?
I have.
Yeah. So like you'd stack stone and like people are like, dude, you went overboard. I'm like, I like everything to be right.
Yeah.
This is, I'd take this right now. If you guys just said, hey, cheers, I wouldn't change anything.
Nice. That's a huge compliment, brother.
Yeah, that's for real.
Yeah. And I have been in your office and it is.
The only thing I'd change is, again, I wouldn't change it because I'm cool right now, but I can imagine in the sweltering heat, this would not be sufficient.
Yeah.
Would it?
Well, we run it. We can turn it up high, and we toned it down to accommodate for today. But yeah, we can. We can.
We have a solution for that.
Yeah. Is there any way you can make it ice cold and then shut it off when it stays cold for an hour?
That's what we did at Alfano, and when we were parked out in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
we froze it out.
I'd make sure of is the temperature, because like Tony Robbins, if you've ever been to one of his events, it's like ice cold. He would be happy to sit in here and talk as long as it's cool.
Yeah.
These celebrities, dude, a lot of them are a little bit diva.
Are they?
You need certain color M&Ms.
Yeah.
That's another thing a lot of people don't realize about podcasting is there's a ton of people that you wouldn't believe would do your podcast, but they will.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to, number one, ask them. And number two, have a real podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And at least look like it's real.
Yeah.
This looks like it's damn real.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Because we have had some people come in, at a certain status, and they walk in and go, bro, I thought you had a phone and a mic. I thought we were about to come sit on your couch and like come look at my trailer, not come in the studio. So yeah, that's cool. But if and we could sit and talk all day, brother, but I want to make sure that I respect your time.
I got nothing to do. I'm in Nashville.
You got nothing to do. You're in Nashville. I got you. All right. So with that being said, so you got events that you're hosting at your place in Vegas. And I went to, like I said, the one in March, and then the May 10th is more about the branding and going to learn some more things there. But tell us a little bit about your setup, because that you talk about impressive. It's the first time I've been to an event and sat in a recliner. Right. So tell us about that place and your vision for that and how you put that together.
Well, I just wanted to put a little center together that I would be comfortable in listening and hanging out for a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of those events you go to, they have uncomfortable chairs. So I'm like, dude, we got to have comfortable chairs. You know, how about recliners?
Mm-hmm.
So I just went and bought 60 recliners, and I said, you have to have good visuals. So I went and bought 18, or I forget what the dimensions are, but a wall of LEDs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the lasers, the fog machine. I went a little overboard actually, but I just made it to where, you know, I'd want to sit in there.
Yeah. And it was comfortable.
Yeah, but it's meant for smaller, more intimate events. It's not a big venue.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people requesting to use it. Obviously, you have to be a client of ours to use it. And, you know, I don't use it much, but I'm going to start using it. You know, like the personal branding one, May 10th. I know what I did exactly, how to build my brand, and I've shown other people how to do it, and they did it as well. So I know that it works.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, that's, I think, what's crucial when you're trying to coach or mentor or teach people something.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do it? Because if you didn't do it, how are you teaching other people to do it? So a lot of people, and, you know, I won't name names, but I know people that say, hey, you know, build a brand on social media. And I said, well, your class will be 5 minutes because you're going to say buy 1 million followers.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did.
Yeah.
You don't buy followers.
Yeah.
You got to attract them and earn them,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise they're worthless.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to teach exactly what I did. I'm going to bring in a few people that have also done some things and give out an exact blueprint. Now, whether somebody wants to do that or not, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people won't, mainly because of allodoxophobia. They won't do what I tell them to do. I can save you a trip if you want to save your time and money to go out there. Walk around with a camera on yourself 24/7. There's more to it, but
Yeah.
that's the key.
Yeah.
Because in order to build it, you're going to need probably, I don't know, 4 posts minimum a day per
Mm-hmm.
channel.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of content. So in order to get that much content, you have to film a lot. And most people are trying to think up the content rather than just film themselves being the content.
Yeah.
As you guys were out there talking, that should have been filmed.
Yeah.
When I leave and you guys are talking about this, that shit should be filmed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the shit people want. But it isn't. The cameras go off. I leave. You guys are talking. You know, I like to say silently because there's nothing to prove it.
Yeah.
And that's where the best content comes from. If you shut these cameras off and we sat here and smoked a cigar and shot the shit for another hour, that's going to be better content
Right.
than this, because that's real.
That's real.
And dude, I'm telling you, after my podcast, I say, okay, and I hit the button and it's over. And they're like, oh, that was good, man. Da-da-da-da-da. And they start talking. And I always think to myself, man, I wish I had that on camera.
Yeah.
I was going to start something called Hot Mic,
Mm-hmm.
where you just leave the mics on and not tell them, and then chop that up.
Yeah.
But then no one would come to your podcast.
That would make it fun, though.
I know, but I can't violate trust like that. To me, to go back to building relationships is about value and trust.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't trust you,
Mhm.
I can like you, but not trust you.
Yeah.
And if I don't trust you, bro, there's nothing there. Like, you know, if someone won't invite you into their house because they're sure you won't kill their family while they're sleeping, you know, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Trust. So that would violate trust.
Yeah. But you could say, you know, hey, Hot Mic maybe.
Then it wouldn't be Hot Mic.
I guess, yeah.
Because there's a lot of people, dude, they won't say shit if they think this is being recorded. See, I'll say the same shit whether it's being recorded or not. I always tell people are like, hey, do you mind if I use the part where you said, I said, listen, if I said it, you can use it.
Yeah.
Why? Because you can use anything I say. And I don't care what it is. You know, well, what if so-and-so hears, or what if hey, I'll say it.
Yeah.
If I said it, you can use it.
Yeah.
I'm not a racist. I'm not a chauvinist.
Right.
I'm not a bad dude at all. So anything I say, you can use.
Yeah.
Now, if you edit it to make it sound like I said something that I didn't, that's not cool.
Right.
But leave it alone. If I said it, you can use it. I think everyone should live that way.
Yeah. That'd make it a lot easier to live life, wouldn't it? You wouldn't have to remember the shit you made up. Oh, what did I do that deal? How did I talk to this person? Yeah, that's...
How many episodes are you guys on right now?
We have recorded 31, 32, and we released 8.
Why only 8?
We were trying to do weekly, but now we're starting to do 2 a week. So trying to follow a schedule, but
Is it always a guest?
So far, yes, sir.
See, I'm about to change it up to where I'll just talk.
Yeah. That's
the
the mic. Courtney, grab that mic for us, man.
But you know what's crazy is I have teams that kind of look at the analytics and whatnot, and it's funny because the number one listened to and downloaded episodes are the ones I did by myself.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, they want more of just you. And I'm like, come on, dude. Nobody wants to hear just me.
Yeah.
And I don't feel comfortable when it's just me. It seems like I need.
See, this is our next step here. It's just right here, me, that camera, poof. I can hook that straight into there. So
why does it have to be a new mic?
I came with when we bought all of this stuff, we had the extra mic and
but wouldn't that one just the same?
Well, and I can run that one straight to the phone. It's quicker for the edits and get the camera. Rather than running it through here to there to the hard drive, we just go straight to the phone.
Yeah, so if you follow my podcast, you're going to start seeing a lot more of me.
Yeah.
Only because, number one, you can spit them out more.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wait for guests and, worry about filling up the guest slot because, in some cases, you don't have anyone to interview.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do then?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just sit down on the microphone and rap.
Yeah.
Some people say, but what do I talk about? See, there's the problem.
Yeah.
What do you mean, what do you talk about? Don't you have any opinions?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have any thoughts? Pull up on the screen the shit that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Trending topics,
mm-hmm.
as an example. Like you know what's going on in the world?
Sometimes I stay away from a lot of news, Brad. I stay away from a lot of news because that diverts me. So I do stay away from a lot of news.
Well, my recommendation for you is to do the opposite.
Okay.
Like pay attention to what's going on if you want to build a brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you ever heard of that Mari Catholic? He's not even Catholic, but he's that priest that just got stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, he keeps me up to everything. This guy right here.
Yeah. And if you don't want to do it, is just have someone build a list.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the trending topics.
Yeah.
Why? They're trending.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about them. So now I might trend because of something I said about it.
Right.
So to me, and I'm going to break all these down the way I do it.
Sure.
But to me, if you have this thing, hey, let's take a look at what's going on in the world today. Boom. And it's just you. You don't need a guest for this. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
And you might not think anything. And you think, I don't think anything. I think this is stupid. Next. And dude, that's the footage and that's the podcast. And you know what? People will be like, dude, I think the same thing.
Yeah.
And so people think they have to have something to say when they don't.
Yeah.
You just have to be willing to say something.
Right.
There's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, dude, if it doesn't sound intelligent, I don't want to say it. Why? Well, because I don't want people to think exactly. Yeah. Now we're back to the problem. And the problem is you worry about what everybody else is thinking. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, if they would just get past that,
mm-hmm.
they could be instantly famous because very few people do that. Everybody's so worried about being politically correct and, I don't want to be viewed as this or that or the other thing. If somebody's, if somebody believes something
mm-hmm.
and they honestly believe it, they should honestly say it.
Right.
Even if it is offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's other people that believe that shit too.
Yeah.
And that's who you're supposed to attract.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to attract the people that don't like what you're saying. Like the other day I looked at my followers. You ever look at your followers, it'll say you gained 50,000,
right.
You lost 20,000 for a net of 30,000. Well, you lost 20,000 people.
Yeah.
More people are focused on that. Mm-hmm. I have one buddy that always looks, he's like, dude, I don't understand how come so many people are unfollowing me. I'm like, dude, look how many people followed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look how many people unfollowed me. You're worried about the people unfollowing you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it's designed.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried about those. Number one, they're not buying anything if you're looking to monetize your following anyway.
Right.
Number two, they don't like what you're saying. Why do you want a bunch of people around that don't like what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Makes zero sense.
Right. That would be, yeah. And that's the real followers. And that's the people who the relationships will, you could monetize and I've seen where, I heard last week, and I've heard it before, but not quite said this way. You know, at the top, people collab. At the bottom, they're competing.
That's right.
And so as far as, you know, you can go and see people that, hey, you may have something. We sit here and you go, hey, I can sell 5 or 10 of these for you. And we're like, okay, well, how does that look? You know, it's like that is what overall it should be about, right? I mean, for everybody. And how can you work together to help people, you know, and everybody wins at that point.
Well, I have a book out. Talks about win-win.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I look for. Because if someone's losing, it's not going to last.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it's going to end. Why would you want to have to build something again? Didn't you already build it? Build it right. Look for win-win situations. You know, if everybody's winning, it's going to last.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that they have to get the best end of the deal for it to be a win for them, but they're not concerned about the win for you.
Yeah.
I've turned deals down because it literally, well, not turned them down, but like took less than I could have because of that. Once somebody understands that I got you good,
Yeah.
how long is it going to last?
It's not. And I'm proud to say, you know, I owned a used truck lot where I bought the trucks, friends of mine, and we ran it. We sold 17 to 20 a month, small place. But I said, I can still talk to the people I sold vehicles to. You know, I mean, they still follow me on Facebook. I have relationships with people. And a lot of times that type of business, it's hard to maintain because stuff happens with cars and they have feelings, you know? So it's like, I've been able to do some cool stuff, and it's always been important to me for, you know, for example, transport drivers, when they're delivering vehicles to your lot. And some guys are like, oh, well, it's cheaper to use this guy. I'm like, yeah, but how's he going to pay for fuel and provide for his family? Because if he's not doing that, guess what he's not doing in a month? Right? He's not in business. And now we're losing a guy that's a good dude that could help us. So, you know, and the old theory of, hey, it's your buddy, get a discount. And I've heard you say a few things about that. But if you like the person and you want to work with them, wouldn't you tip them more? Wouldn't you pay them a little bit more?
I would. I do.
Yeah.
I don't really want discounts.
Yeah.
If I'm looking to support you, dude, I'll just come support you.
Yeah.
Technically, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Right. Yeah.
Especially with restaurants.
Yeah.
That clip went viral too because my buddy owns a restaurant. And everybody wanted me to call him up, see if we can get a deal. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to call the guy and see if I can eat his shit for free.
Right.
Okay. And
right.
Yes, he would say, come eat for free. But dude, I'm trying to support the guy.
Yeah.
Like tip bigger when you go there.
Yeah.
Order everything.
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to eat it. Like help the guy out.
Yeah.
If everyone thought that way, we would live in a much more, I'd say, productive society.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's people that are so scarcity based that they believe that if they don't take it, that they're not going to get it, which is not necessarily true. And the whole collab at the top, compete at the bottom, you can compete at the top too. Mm-hmm. But to me, the difference between competing and collaborating is when you compete, I'm trying to take what you have.
Right. When
I collab, I'm trying to add to what exists. See the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So like if I want to collab with you, well, we're gonna create something that doesn't exist, and that's contributing. And I think when you contribute, you know, it comes back. But when you compete, you're just trying to take what exists. Just like when I started LightSpeed, I was going to go take people's business. I was going to go compete with Grant and all these sales trainers because my sales training, I thought it was the best in the world. So, and I still do, but you know, I don't focus on it since 20 years ago, but I was going to go kick their asses and take their businesses and take their fans. And I started like getting a lot of pushback on, well, we like this person, we like that person. And I thought to myself, man, I could sit there and fight with these guys for the next 5 years and go broke. Why don't I just go let them use my system since I'm finding people that would buy their system if I had their content. So I thought I could compete with them or I could go like close them and just partner with them and do the collaboration. The partnerships is what caused me to succeed.
Yeah.
If I would have, I mean, we don't have a crystal ball. I like to think I would have crushed him anyway. But had I chose the crush route, I might be back in the car dealership selling cars. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they had a lot of money I didn't have. They had a lot of head start I didn't have. I think it was a blessing that I was open to the collaboration. I didn't know that. I discovered that. So that's the crazy thing. You know, looking back, I can tell a lot of people to do a lot of things that would serve them only because I had to realize it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn it. I realized it.
Yeah. That reminds me, and I've shared this story with a few people that, you know, my kids, we had a birthday party for them at an event place, and there were other kids. And I went in, and one of the females that worked there, she goes, "Oh, you're in good shape. You must work out." And I looked around and I said, "Well, in here I am. But the gym I choose to go to, I'm an average dude in the gym. The people I want to be around, they're better than me. And I want to get in those rooms, you know, and that's the reason I'm not a member of certain gyms or certain places or the places people I want to be around. It's like, if I go get around these people, they got a head start on me, you know. They're on chapter 20. I'm in chapter 2 or 3 of this venture. So, you know, you've exemplified that. And like you said, it's worked out okay for you. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I hold myself a little bit back with again, I'm a victim of the same things I preach sometimes.
Yeah.
I was just about to talk about the tongue. Mm-hmm. You know, the tongue is very powerful. And if more people understood how powerful it was, you know, they would control it better. Specifically about talking about ourselves. When you say something about yourself that's negative, it does have negative consequences. People don't think it, but it's true. If I say, you know, "Hey, how's it going?" and you're like, "Oh, just trying to survive," you know, that is not a good thing to say.
Right.
So specifically as of the last couple months, I've been focusing on like chopping that out because I joke. I'm a jokester.
Yeah.
And I always joke about things. I wouldn't joke about things like that. Mm-hmm. So that's why you spell words because they're literally a spell. So the things we say matter. The things we say about other people, the things we say about ourselves, it matters. So I was just about to say that because I'm trying to focus on controlling what I say better.
Yeah.
Being more aware of what it is I'm saying.
Yeah. A friend of mine sent me, and I think you did a clip on this, but as far as the communication to the water and how it formed and the words, and that's pretty recent. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty recent.
There's a book I was reading on it. I forget what it's called now, but ultimately, if you talk shit to water, it freezes into these ugly crystals. And if you play like, you know, Beethoven, it forms beautiful crystals.
Yeah.
Plants, there's scientific evidence that negativity affects things. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like, what do? Well, you just got to start being more aware, and you can't just like dismiss it as if, that's bullshit. It's true.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if there's people listening to this right now and they want to get better in their life, they need to first control that negative self-talk. Mm-hmm. Because most people, believe it or not, if they want to raise their net worth, they have to raise their self-worth. They don't believe they're worth any more than they are, which is why they're only worth what they're worth. So you literally have to raise your self-worth to raise your net worth. And most people can't do it because of their programming. They're you know, not to use Nick Alfano's words, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the shit they've listened to and believed all their life. So in order to change it, they have to change their beliefs. Because the reason we get what we get is because we do what we do. And the reason we do what we do is because we believe what we believe. And it doesn't make it true just because we believe it. So literally we have to change our beliefs.
Right.
And there's only one way to do that. And that's get new information. If we didn't get any new information, we would never change what we believed. So literally information is the key. To go out every day and seek new information and obviously apply it and tweak it and adjust it and, throw away what works and keep what doesn't. And next thing you know, man, you're beyond where you ever thought you would be. Now look at your belief system. Like I used to think, when I make $1 million a year, dude, I'll be rich and successful.
Yeah.
Well, once you make $1 million in a year, you're like, it's not what I thought it was. But you now think, well, dude, I could probably do 2 if I just did this, that, and the other thing. Well, there was a time where you couldn't even imagine $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're thinking 2, then you're thinking 20, then you're thinking 200. How is that changing? Well, because you're seeing more and more. And as you see more and more, you can see a little bit more than that. Why can't I just think 200 billion? Because when I try to think 200 billion, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
That's why it's not realistic.
Yeah.
I need to get crazy. I need to go back to nuts. So you might see a different Brad Lea over the next couple of years.
Cool.
I'm going to probably go a little bit, I'm going to test some theories.
Yeah.
I might not do podcasts anymore either. Why? Just because I don't want to talk. I want to show.
Yeah.
Getting in shape, I always talk about, you don't need to be in shape. Like I'd rather die after a few donuts than not having donuts.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe like the guy with the, 4% body fat lived his whole life with no good food, no tasty shit ever.
Right.
And that person dies versus the guy that had a little body fat, enjoyed birthday cake on his daughter's birthday,
Mm-hmm.
had donuts on Sundays, ate pizza,
Yeah.
Enjoyed life.
Mm-hmm.
That person died. Who do you think won in my book? The person that got to enjoy and experience life.
Yeah.
Not the one that was so disciplined they restricted every pleasure in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So like, where's the middle ground? Well, I keep rationalizing that, which is why I don't think I've hit my next level. So my next level, bro, I guarantee you I'm shredded.
Okay.
And I've already started.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'll start to see, man, he's getting in shape. Damn, he's starting to look good. Well, I don't know if it'll help, but everyone that I know that's ripped claims it will. You've been ripped,
Yeah.
shredded,
Yeah.
like low body fat,
Yeah.
abs.
Yeah.
Did it change anything?
Not really, other than Alfano laughed at a picture because my wife was rubbing him one time. And that, you know what I mean? But did it really change anything? No.
See, that's what I think.
No.
See, so I might end up doing it and realize, see, I told you this shit ain't all what it's cracked up to be. All I did is fucking forgave donuts for a month.
Right?
People always wonder why donuts.
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever had a kick-ass maple bar donut?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Frick, dude, I highly recommend everybody eats donuts.
You're not living if you're not, right?
Dude, I mean, come on. What's the purpose of saying no?
Yeah.
A little bit of discipline, I totally agree. If somebody came up to me, they were clearly overweight, they weren't, their wife and them weren't getting along,
Right.
they were making no money,
Right.
the first thing I'm going to do is say, you need to fucking work out.
Mm-hmm.
You need to start believing in yourself. You need to start focusing on 3 things: your mindset, your skill set, and your habits, because that's that person's problem.
Mm-hmm.
But when you find the opposite guy where he's shredded, 4% body fat, but he's broke, have you ever seen those guys?
I have.
That's because, dude, it's not all about the body. It's about the mindset, the skill set, and the habits. They've aced it in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why can't they ace it in business? They don't apply the same disciplines over here.
Mm-hmm.
They're focused on this and they realize. So anybody with a 6-pack right now definitely could be wealthy if they just realized the same shit they're doing with that is what you do with business.
Mm-hmm.
The same sacrifice, the same discipline, it's not that difficult. If I can do it, pretty much anyone can.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I had going for me is I was able to sell.
Yeah. And that's when you said that, as far as the skill set there, as far as selling and that, I look at it as the first day I met Courtney, my wife, I didn't ask her on a date. I said, what time do you get off Friday? And she kind of looked at me and I said, well, you get off at 7, I'm going to pick you up at 8. And she kind of looked at me and said, well, nobody's ever told me, and that was my way of not selling, but in a way, it's like, hey, this is what I want.
Assuming the sale.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how you know, and then I see my kids and they're crying when they're babies or they need something, and they're selling me on all of those things right now. So, you know, from a sales perspective, I think everybody can sell, right? You're selling yourself on one discipline or the other. You're choosing your hard. If you want to be fat, it's going to be hard, and shape's going to be hard, or broke's going to be a lot harder. I have people with more money than I have that said, you know, I've been happy broke and happy rich, and it's a lot easier to be, you know, happy with money because you can do more with it, you know. But
I highly recommend being rich.
yeah, makes life a lot easier,
way easier, and way more fun. You have more options.
Yeah, and is you know, as we're sitting here, like I said, we could sit and talk all day because I'm intrigued to see, you know, it's like how did he get here? Because hearing you talk and I've heard you at a, you know, at the Alfano thing, there was a guy there and you're like, bro, why don't you just get up and start moving? Like, just move your big ass, just get moving and everything else will start coming together, right? It's just, but he's selling himself that he can't, or there's limitations.
Well, that's scarcity. That's mindset. He has a mindset issue.
Yeah.
It's either one of three things. You break it down to simple form.
Yeah.
It's your mindset, it's your skill set, or it's your habits.
Okay.
You can have the right mindset, but you're not very good because your skills suck.
Mm-hmm.
You're not talented. You're not skilled. Well, then you might fail.
Right.
You can be all positively freaking running in the wrong direction. So you got to have the mindset right. Then you have to have your skill set right. The good news is everyone can get good at anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this guy's good at this shit.
Yeah.
I bet you anything I can go get good at this shit. I could be one of the best in the world at this shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's mindset. The fact that I believe I could is mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a skill set issue. That's a mindset issue. If you don't think you can get good,
Right.
I think I can go get good at anything. Well, what do I need to get good at based on what do I want to do in life?
Right.
I would go master the skills required for whatever it is I was trying to do. So in my mind, if someone's trying to get rich, you're going to need to get good at sales, marketing, branding, communication, and finances. You know, money. A lot of people don't understand money. I didn't understand money for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought all the people that had the big houses and the big cars just made a lot of money. I didn't realize that, you know, it was investments that was making them rich. I'm thinking, well, if you gave your $1 million away, you don't have it anymore. How are you supposed to get the cars?
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy about it is if someone handed someone $20 million right now that didn't know anything, they'd be broke before they knew it. They'd have a bunch of houses and cars, can't afford the payments. Next thing you know, they all disappear, and then someone's broke. And they're like, dude, I thought you got a bunch of money. I would have.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, that's why, you know, and his name's Yahuwah.
Yeah.
That's why God, Yahuwah, that's why he's delayed me for so long, because he knows, dude, I would have blown it. I'd probably be dead. You know,
Yeah.
I would have blown it.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, I'm seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I get some money, I don't really run out and spend it.
Right.
You know, I'm like, what do I do with this? Where should I use it? And now I'm starting to get a little bit more foundational success,
Mm-hmm.
where if I'd have had this at 20, I'd probably be something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd probably be dead.
Yeah.
Because I would have blown it for sure. But you live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
There's people listening to this right now that if they go back and listen to it 100 times, they already heard everything they need to be successful. But 5 years from now, check on them. They won't be.
Yeah.
And why? Mindset, skill set, or habits.
Mm-hmm.
Their mindset's wrong, their skill sets are wrong, or their habits are wrong. Those are the three areas. All someone has to do is, okay, I'm going to be whatever. Good. Focus on the mindset, the skill set, and the habits. Every day, wake up. Do I have the right mindset? What do I need to know? What do I need to think like? Because you'll ultimately develop a growth mindset with abundance as the factor based in gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
That's the combination that I found works the best. Then you go to your skill sets. Well, am I good at marketing? Yes or no? Are you?
No, I'm not.
So be good at it.
Right.
How do you do it? Well, you lose a little money, you spend some money, you go learn some shit, you fail, you pick it up, you ask people, you gather information, you try it again. 3 to 5 years from now, a lot of people are like, dude, how are you so good at marketing? Well, you spent the time, effort, and energy to get good at it. And that's the beautiful thing. Everyone can develop their skills. You just got to know what skills to develop. If I want to be a fighter, well, I better develop my fighting skills.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to be a business person, I better develop my sales skills, my communication, my marketing, my branding. But those are the skills that I think, if you want to be rich, that you have to focus on. Sales, marketing, branding, and then just overall communication. And if I were going to add a fifth one, it'd be building relationships. Like, go read Think and Grow, or How to Win Friends, Influence People over and over and over and over and over. Leverage what's in that book. Become a master of what's in that book. Dude, you'll be like the governor. Everyone will know you. Everyone will love you. You'll have resources up the yin yang. You'll have connections up the yin yang. Like, dude, that alone sometimes is enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd focus on those 5. And then your habits, depending on, again, where you're trying to be, is the last thing. You can be extremely focused on abundance and growth and positivity. You can be extremely talented, but you sit around smoking weed, playing Xbox all day. Your habits are shot. You're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You need all 3 of those in place. And what's crazy is if you can just get the right mindset, master your skills that you need, or at least get good at them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard the rule of, I think it's 100? Where if you spend 100 hours practicing any one thing, just 100 hours on any one thing, you're better than like 90% of the rest of the population at that thing. It's crazy. Like, it doesn't take as long as people think. So go focus. You know, people say you master it with 10,000 hours. So you really want to play guitar? Go play it for 10,000 hours. I'll bet you anything you're better than 95% of the guitar players.
Yeah, and that reminds me of something else that I heard you say in a speech while we were there. You said, "Okay, I want you to go do exactly what I'm telling you to do, and if in 1 year you're not rich and famous, then I'll give you $1 million if you do it every single day." And it's like, because if you do it, you're gonna win. You're gonna figure it out, right? I mean, it's just what are you willing to sacrifice and do to get to what you say you want? Or is that truly just, well, I want to do it because I think it's cool, right? So is it easy when you talk to people, because in being in car sales and doing different things, is it easier for you to get that energy or read people or see and say, hey, this is somebody that I could, or maybe, and that skill set in of itself is one thing I take a lot of pride in. And people have asked me, well, what do you do? I said, well, I contact first, and I want to see if we break it. Now I want to see if I can trust you with something. And if I can, now we can, have a little system there. But what do you use?
For what?
When you meet somebody or you're trying to figure out if you want to do business or have that collaboration?
I use my ears.
Your ears. Okay.
Eyes and ears is all you need for that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a saying that says, listen with your eyes and you'll see all you need to hear. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all you got to do is watch, and that'll usually tell you everything. Or just listen. But I don't approach relationships as, hey, how do I get something?
Right.
I approach relationships by thinking, how can I help this person?
Right.
And if I help enough people, that's the secret.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure once of doing some stuff with Zig Ziglar.
Mm-hmm.
He was a client. Now his family's a client still, but I got to hang out with Zig, and he's famous for saying, the best way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. And I could never understand. I'm like, well, what are you talking about, man? Like, I'm trying to get paid here.
Mm-hmm.
How can I worry about you if I'm trying to get paid?
Right.
Like, I'll just get you paid and then I don't get paid? Like, that doesn't work for me. But now looking back, I realized, dude, that's exactly correct. Like, if you can just wake up every day and say, I'm going to go help 1 million people solve problems,
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you'll be rich.
Yeah.
Because that's what money is exchanged for, is solutions.
Mm-hmm.
If you can solve my problems, I will give you my money.
Mm-hmm.
And how big the problem will be determined how big the check.
Yeah.
If you said, Brad, I can take your company 10 times the size it is. Well, I'd write you all the money I got.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because I'll 10X it.
Yeah.
But I got to trust you.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, can you? Now I got to trust you. That's why trust is important.
Right.
So how do you build trust? How do you provide value? Well, you lead with value and you build trust by consistently delivering it.
Right.
So every time you come around me, good things happen. Everything's great. Pretty soon you trust me. And now we're doing real business. So when I approach a relationship, I'm just looking for and listening for really mindset, because if somebody's mindset's shot, I tend to just steer away from them.
Yeah.
There was a kid that shot me an email. He had a good idea for an app. I said, I'll jump on a Zoom with you. So I jump on a Zoom with him. He's clearly nervous. He's in a suit and tie.
Yeah.
First of all, it's like, I'm like, do you just getting off work? He said, no. I said, well, what do you got a suit and tie for? He says, because of this meeting. I'm like, okay, that's cute. Like, I remember back in those days. But okay, so I'm listening to him. And I said, send me your deck. I'll look through it. I'll talk to my team, and then I'll get back to you.
Right.
Which is what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I got off the phone. He shot me an email within 5 minutes. I know I screwed up that interview, he called it. I know I screwed it up. I know you're not going to invest. Just forget everything I said. I'm like, wow, man, this is crazy. And then like an hour later, he sent me another email. I got another idea since you didn't like that one. I'm like, I didn't say I didn't like it, dude. This was all conjured up in his head. It was so sad when I saw that. But like, delete. Right. Like, I'm not going to sit there and try and chase that one down.
Right.
I tell people, listen, I can help you from drowning, but you got to swim towards me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to swim out to get you. There's too many. I might drown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't like negative. I don't like pessimistic, negative drama. So if I see or sense any of that, I kind of head the other direction. Mm-hmm. I like to just hang around people that are fun and optimistic. And by the way, it's not always about money. You know what I mean? Like, I believe it or not, I can do a lot more things than I do. Well, why don't I do all those other things? Because, dude, I'd rather sit home with my family, hang out, go eat, take a trip, even play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, you can't play video games and get rich. Bullshit. You can too. I've done it.
Yeah.
It's possible. Why? I enjoy Call of Duty. It relieves, it's like fun for me. It's like golf. Mm-hmm. Can't golf and get rich. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. So I think people need to realize, number one, there's more than one way to do it. Mm-hmm. There's not only one way to do it. So when you listen to some guru on social media talking about, you got to do this, just acknowledge that that's one way to do it. Listen to another one. There's another way to do it, and realize that there's multiple ways to do it. Don't get depressed because you can't go to the gym 8 hours a day and skip donuts. So now you're screwed, according to this guy.
Right.
That's not true. There's more than one way to get rich, and you will definitely accomplish your goals if you can break it down to 3 simple things: mindset, skill set, habits. Mm-hmm. That's it. Quit making it more complicated. And then you have to sacrifice. Most people won't sacrifice. And that's the craziest thing, because if you don't sacrifice for what it is that you want, what it is that you want becomes the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So you're going to sacrifice either way. But people realize that. They're like, shit, I might as well sacrifice for what I want so I can get it rather than sacrifice what I want. Because you're going to sacrifice one way or the other. So, dude, bite the bullet, man up. And people say, what about women? It's whoa, man.
Yeah.
You still can man up as a woman. Yeah. That's why they're called whoa mans. Man up. Like, get tough. Pay the price. There's a price for everything. Mm-hmm. The question is, are you willing to pay it? And if you're not, dude, don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's things that I won't do. I'm not willing to freaking harm people for money.
Right.
Or rip people off. There's nobody in the internet. Now, again, I ain't talking about back in the old days.
Yeah.
You might find some from back then.
Yeah.
I'm talking about since I was 30.
Right.
You won't find anybody that says, Brad Lea screwed me. You won't find anybody that says that. And if they do, bring them to me.
Yeah.
Either A, I'll make it right because I didn't know they were screwed, or B, I'll prove that they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't screw people. And by the way, that's why a lot of people say, how do you get so confident? It's because, dude, I'm a good dude.
Yeah.
Like, I get up every day looking to help people. I get up every day looking to improve the world. I want to make things better for not just me and my kids, everybody. I want to make things better for you.
Right.
You're not paying me to be here. I didn't come here so there's some, I'm not, hey, you guys go buy my book. I came here because, hey, it might help you, might help your podcast, which I used to think was stupid, but a couple of podcasts that are now pretty big, they said as soon as I was on it, everybody came on it. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's it's almost flattering to me.
Yeah.
It's like, because I was on it, other people said yes. They're like, dude, I don't know if it was you, but as soon as you were on it, they're like, oh, Brad did it? Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I can help people's podcasts get big. Cool. I'll do that. People that are listening. And if you say, well, there's only 21 people listening, there's 21 people that I could help today.
Right.
That's why I'm doing it. There's no ulterior motive.
Right.
Most people will be like, dude, there's got to be a reason. There isn't.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if you can live that way, bro, then I guarantee you, I think it's God, not the universe, but
right.
I think you'll get it all back. And by the way, you're going to get back what you truly want, not what you think you want. So it's very important that you really try and figure out what is it that you want, because most people don't understand even that. They think I want to be rich. Well, what is rich? Rich how?
Yeah.
Financially rich. So if you had $1 billion, but you were miserable alone in a castle, you'd be happy? No. Okay, well then what's rich? Like, get specific. I say to people, you want me to teach you how to get exactly what you want in life? They say, yeah. Number one, figure out what it is. That's the hardest part. They think that's the easy part. Every time they'll be like, dude, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's not easy. That's the hardest part. Then I say, then figure out how to get it. And they're like, well, no shit. And I'm like, they're like, that's the hard part. And I'm like, no, that's the easy part.
Right.
How to get it, that's the easy part. The first part, figure out what you want. The second part, figure out how to get it. Then the third part, do the work. Some people think that's the hard part. That might be the hard part too, but if you can truly figure out what you want, I can show you how to get it. You want me to give you the hack right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. You find someone who's already done it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's the hack. You say you want this, find someone who has that, who's done that, who's been there, whatever it is you're trying for.
Right.
Find people that have already achieved that. Now, if no one's ever achieved it in the world, this formula doesn't work. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
But what I know how to do is get what you want out of life, and that is figure out what it is, find someone who's already achieved it, and then do what they did. Because 9 times out of 10, you will get what they got.
Yeah.
It's the laws of, action versus or what is it? I forget the law now, but dude, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You go do what they did. I'll bet you get what they got. Now, in some cases, I may be wrong, but I'll bet you $50. Pick what you want, figure out what it is,
right.
Find someone who's already achieved it, go and do what they did. And I'll bet you get what they got.
Yeah.
And then people, by the way, came back and said, dude, you were right. I wanted to get 6-pack. So I, talked to someone with a 6-pack. They told me what to do. I did it and I got a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's with anything. You want to go build a massive business? Go find someone who's built a massive business and do what they did. So that's what it is. Figure out what you want. Figure out how to get it, which is finding someone who's got it. They got the map.
Yeah.
And then do the work.
Yeah.
Now, as easy as that is, 99% of the people that hear that won't do shit. They'll turn off the podcast. Some of them will be like, yeah, that was good. And then they'll go back to their normal lives.
Right.
Some of them will doubt it. That guy's so full of himself.
Yeah.
That's called pessimistic scarcity, hater mode, bitch-minded losers. But 99% won't take it as simply as that and now go fix it.
Right.
Because everybody, and there's nobody on the planet that's going to fix it for you. People don't understand that part either. People that give me credit for changing their life, I always tell them, bro, you did it.
Right.
Like, yes, I might have freaking said something that caused you to do it. Yes, I might have, said something that caused you to do something. So you're giving me credit when in reality, you did it, bro. Mm-hmm. And then they look around, they're like, yeah, that's true. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, only you can do it.
Yeah.
Only you can do it. And that's what people don't understand. Like, only you can do it. So if you're not doing it, whose fault is it? It's yours.
Yeah.
And most people don't take responsibility.
Yeah.
They blame everybody else. They blame their parents. They blame their lack of parents. They blame their lack of money. They blame their wife. They blame their husband. They blame the president. They blame everybody else.
Right.
When in reality, all you got to do is look in the mirror and realize, dude, it's you that needs to freaking do it. Mm-hmm. And then start and get going. Like, dude, there's no time. Like right now. That's what I was telling that guy. Get up and start moving. You're fat. You don't want to be fat?
Right.
Then get up and start moving.
Right.
Like, dude, jog while we're talking.
Yeah.
And how come you're not? Well, I don't want to look like an idiot. There you go again. Back to the square one.
Right.
Anyway.
Here at Smith Financial Services, we take care of small business owners, 1099 contract workers, and their families. We know insurance can be rough if you're a small business owner, so we are here to make things easy. Visit our website, smithfinancial.services, to learn more.
No, that's one thing that, and that's, maybe that's your sacrifice now to make the world better. And you're giving your time, and you're coming on shows like this, and you're like, hey, I can come out to make this better. And if it's 21 or 21,000 or however season, but that's the sacrifice that, and that's the reason that I'm thankful you're here. But I also, the people that know you, that I know, they just tell me he's a good dude. Like, who he is who he is. And I'm like, awesome. Because there are some people, like you said, that, I'll tell you in 5 minutes how to get 1 million followers. Yeah, pay for them. Like, there's certain people out there that, I'm like, okay, how can I make sure? Because I want people to get real stuff, right? I don't want to have just because it's somebody's name or whatever, or come on the show for anything other than how can we help people, and, how to win friends and influence people. I probably should read that the 4th or 5th time again, because every time I look back, I go back to that nobody wins in a fight. Well, damn it, I thought I'd, but there's certain aspects of that book that I go back to mentally and try to remember, okay, yeah, that's right. That's what it said 5 years ago when I read it, 4 years ago, and it still says the same thing, and it still holds true. So, no, I greatly appreciate, all the insight and all the clips and all the social media things, because it helps a lot of people.
Well, I'm hoping that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Help people, and believe it or not, you get help.
Yeah. And I do have to, one of the things that I just thought of, and you are funny. And there was, it may have been Joe Rogan and Elon Musk talking about a Rolex and getting it reset, or how many times you had to get it set. And you said, if you want to know what time it is, you look at your phone, because you wear the Rolex to tell me what time it is, right? And those little clips like that.
That's right.
And I'm like, it's like, that's just funny shit, man. And he's a good dude.
But it's the truth.
It is.
Like, I don't wear that to tell the time. Right. I wear that so you know the time.
Right.
But it's funny. And humor, I think, helps.
Yeah.
So anybody that is funny usually is liked better.
Right.
Because people like to laugh. People like to feel good. And anytime you can get people laughing, it works. But I've had it backfire. On that stage at 10X, I was talking about my mom.
Yeah.
Because my mom and dad got divorced when I was 2.
Okay.
My mom kept the baby and sent 4 of us to basically a foster home. Well, my dad was going to let it happen, but my grandmother's Spanish, so she wouldn't allow it because they're familial, the Latinos.
Right.
So she said, you better go get your kids or your ass is grass. So my dad came and got us 4 right when we were getting shipped off to other kids. And so my mom ended up having another son with some dude. I don't even know who it was, but his name was, the son's name was Brian, my half brother.
Yeah.
Then she had another kid with some Indian dude named, like, Native American Indian dude named Daniel, and had Jordan. And then I don't know where the other two came from, but then she had Colton and Dalton.
Yeah.
And so she just never gave up. Like she just kept on humping.
Yeah.
And I said that, my mom just kept humping.
Yeah.
And, people in the front row were like, did he just say his mom kept humping? And I'm like, so she taught me never to give up,
Right.
And everyone's laughing. I don't know why I brought that up, but it's just most people wouldn't ever say anything. They want to come across like I've achieved something and I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
Bro, like keep it real.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I've succeeded in spite of myself. I literally am living proof that you don't need to be all this shit. I dropped out of school in 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go back and look at the scores on my tests, I was testing at college levels in 10th and 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm not stupid. I just didn't like school. I dropped out of school. Big deal. And everybody knows now you don't even need school.
Yeah.
Like I always say, I got a couple PhDs, couple masters. They're like, what? You went back? No, I hired them. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like if people realize that humor gets people to laugh and like you, that's a skill set.
Right.
So go work on your humor. You can get funny.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, you're either born with it or you're not. That's not true.
No.
Like go ask every comedian out there if they were always funny.
Yeah. Well, if you were born with it, Michael Jordan wouldn't have got cut as a sophomore in high school, right? From his basketball team. He developed it, right? I mean, you just have hit all the nails on the head, like you said, and 2 years from now is going to be 2 years from now. What am I going to do? What are you going to do? I'm excited to see, if you do back off or get abs or.
No, you're going to see me press the gas.
Yes.
I'm going to get more intense.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, and this is the negative shit I need to stop talking about.
Okay.
But in my opinion, I'm too lax.
Okay.
Like almost to the point where a lot of people resonate with it because they want to be this way too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't need abs. I can eat a fucking donut. Listen to Brad Lea. Brad Lea told you. And so like I'm causing a lot of people to not press the gas.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I believe I've been at my level for too long.
Okay.
And I'm like, why am I not getting to the next fucking level?
Right.
Well, again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm not slamming my foot down and saying, fuck it, let's get a little bit more intense.
Right.
So I'm not going to go too crazy because I don't believe in crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go like, for example, 90 minutes a day in the mornings at the gym, working hard.
Mm-hmm.
If 90 minutes don't do it, then I'm out.
Yeah.
But I'll do 90. 90 minutes is a fair investment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do 90 minutes, 6 days a week.
Mm.
I'm already pretty good at eating. So
Yeah.
I'm going to eat really good 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to do. And I'll bet you anything, shred up. Because I barely do shit now and I look pretty decent.
Yeah.
I don't know why people on social media talking about, the haters in the comments, dude, you're fat. It's like, dude, if I'm fat, I feel bad for fat people. What are they?
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, I don't think I'm fat.
Right.
I'm just, I don't have six pack.
Right.
But I'm about to get one.
Yeah.
Just to see. And I hope Andy Elliott and all the dudes that are telling me that it'll matter. Andy Elliott, he believes in it.
Yeah.
He says, brother, you'll make 5 times the money you make now. I said, no shit, 5 times? Damn, dude, I better get some abs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he said, I'll give you 50 grand if you can get them by June 1. And like, that's not motivating me.
No.
You got to do it for you.
Yeah.
I thought for a minute, 50 grand, shit, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I started and then I'm like, that's not really what's
June 1, what, 25 or 24? What year?
What?
Did he specify the year? June 1 this year?
No, but he meant June 1, like at the end of this month.
Right.
And then next month.
I didn't know if you could add that to the deal.
And if I started writing, because I could already screw him in a bet because I have abs. You just can't see them. He didn't say I had to see them. He just said you have to have them, and I got them. And I could have a doctor verify that they're there.
That's what I was saying. There's some kind of contractual thing we could adjust here to get you 50 for.
No, and I didn't bet him.
Yeah.
So luckily I'm not out 50.
Okay.
But I just don't get 50,
Yeah.
which means I'm out 50.
Yeah.
I could have acquired 50.
Yeah.
But in reality, I rationalize, and it's not that really important. And I think now I need to fix that part of me.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong before. Who cares? What's the worst that can happen? I end up better shape.
Yeah.
I end up in shape and I'm correct.
Yeah.
Nothing changed, asshole. But I got a 6-pack now.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing the roids. There's a lot of those guys, they want to talk about, hey, man, you need to get in shape, dude. You need to quit fucking jacking off all the steroids in your body. That's killing you. Like, getting shape is one thing.
Right.
Getting bodybuilding big. I've never seen a bodybuilder that isn't on juice. Have you?
No.
And I ain't talking about the
not
natural
the
ones
big
because
guy.
they don't look the same.
Right. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of those big ass ones,
They're all on.
they're on
some
juice.
type of gear, yeah.
Again, they should come out and say,
Yeah.
guys, you want to look like me? Here's my stack.
Yeah.
I do Anavar. I do freaking Winstrol V. I do
Right.
Equipoise. I do all this shit. And it's probably extremely dangerous.
It
Because
is.
when I did steroids when I was like, I think 21,
Yeah.
I got jacked for a second.
Yeah.
And I was on Winstrol V.
Mm-hmm.
My blood tests and my shit, it showed my liver was failing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doctor was like, "What's your markers are going?" I'm like, "Whoa, I'm doing Winstrol V." He goes, "Dude, stop that. Your liver's failing."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are you shitting me?"
Yeah.
And a lot of people say it wasn't failing. It would just look like it was because of how hard it was working.
Right.
But I don't care. Like, dude, I would rather be fat and alive and healthy than shredded with a fucking year to live.
Yeah.
So anybody listening, don't go so crazy. You sacrifice your health.
Yeah.
Even if, by the way, you have a thyroid issue, because some people claim they have a thyroid issue.
Right.
That's why they're fat.
Yeah.
They say they have a thyroid issue.
Yeah.
And I've told people before, it's not a thyroid issue, dude. It's a lazy ass issue.
Right.
Because if you have a thyroid issue, it just means you have to work harder
Mm-hmm.
to get in shape. It doesn't mean you can't get in shape.
Right.
You see these people that are like 400 pounds, and I'm not saying every person in the world, there's always an exception, but most of them, it is not a medical issue that is causing it. It is a diet issue. It is a lazy issue. It is a lack of sacrifice issue.
Mm-hmm.
If they get pissed and they said, screw it, enough's enough, and they start putting in the work,
Mm-hmm.
they will get in shape. And that applies with relationships. That applies with finances. That applies with businesses. It applies with everything. Like, LightSpeed would be 10 times bigger if I could go back and redo it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I didn't work that hard. A lot of people say, oh, you must have busted your ass. Not really, dude. Again, I'm successful in spite of myself.
Yeah. And that's just for me to sit here and hear you say that, and I've heard it in other words, if you will, but it's like, okay, well, if Brian is chasing Brad and he's already there and Brad's not letting off the gas, okay, well, how much harder am I going to have to work to get there? And then that inspires me to sit back and, okay, well, if he's still not just ready to just chill and no.
I have been chilling.
Well, I get it. And you've still gotten here, right? And that's like, okay, well, what's next? How big is it going to be?
Who are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I have to figure out.
Right.
Because in reality, it's big enough.
Yeah.
But I think I want it bigger.
Yeah.
Only because I'm not to the level of financial wherewithal that I want to be. I want to be able to, buy islands and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I want a plane.
Yeah.
I want multiple planes. A
Yeah.
smaller one for just me and my family, and a bigger one in case I am going across the seas, the oceans. So I want a couple of jets, and I'm not there yet.
It just reminded me. I remember watching you and Ed Milet on a show, and you were telling him about some of the properties he was getting and things. He's like, "Oh, you're like, I'm watching," and I think he has gotten an island and different things. But it's like you're saying, you're seeing these people, and that's what you want to get to, and that's why.
But I'm like everybody else, where I just talk. I don't do a lot of doing.
Okay.
Like like my business increases because it increases. It doesn't increase because I'm digging every day.
Right.
You know, like I'm in Nashville for like 10 days.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm doing a podcast. When I leave here, I'll go back home.
Yeah.
I'll probably smoke a cigar, one of the cigars you got me.
Yeah.
I'll play a little Call of Duty and I'll wonder what's for dinner.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to dinner and then I'll come home and I'll go to bed. And tomorrow I'll get up and probably try and figure out something else to do. Like, dude, does that work?
No.
That does not work.
No.
I could be doing 1,000% more.
Right.
I could be literally intense. I could be on phone calls. I could be figuring out what's going on with Brian. What kind of opportunities you got working on, boss? Hey,
Right.
where's Nick Hyder? Let's get everybody together. Let's see if we can, hey, let's sell some tickets. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Why don't I? I wish someone could fucking help me.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if there's a psychiatrist out there listening, what is it? I always say deep down, it's because I don't think I deserve it. And I think that may be the truth.
Yeah.
I think so. Like why? Well, dude, how come I am aware that I can do more than I'm doing, but I don't? I'm aware of it. If I wasn't aware of it, then maybe, he thinks he's out there busting his ass.
Yeah.
But he's really not. Like, have you ever audited your time?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you audit my time. You'll be like, dude, are you retired? And I say, no, I'm not retired.
Yeah.
You'll be like, but you kind of are.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, well, kind of, I guess. Maybe I am. Not really. I work. You know what I do when I get to work? Nothing. I literally call, Coach Burt?
Yeah.
Call Coach Burt. He says, dude, every time I come out here, I can't figure out what you do. I go, what do you mean? He goes, dude, I've spent the whole day at your office and all you're doing is sitting around and people are hanging around listening to you and laughing and joking. And I've never seen you do any work.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I don't really do any. I don't like it.
That sounds like work. Yeah.
I don't really like the work.
Yeah.
But I say all that joking because there's a little truth to it, but I say it more joking because obviously I do some work, but dude, I can do a lot more. And for some reason, I've not done it. And I've got myself this far from being totally convinced to do it. And maybe deep down, I'm afraid that if I do it, I still won't get any better. Mm-hmm. And I'm worried what everybody else thinks. Like, in other words, I have the same problem as everybody else.
Yeah.
Because we're all fucking human and we all fall short.
Yeah.
Even Brad Lea.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about me. Like,
but by you being you and sitting around, and that's what attracts the people to you, right?
Well, somebody,
I mean, that's
there's some benefit in everything.
Yeah.
But somebody asked me the other day, "Do you think you're a good leader?" And I said, "No." They're like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "No, dude, I am not a good leader. That's for damn sure." They're like, "Dude, you're the first person that's ever said that."
Yeah.
Most people are like, "Yes, as a matter of fact, here's my leadership rules." Like, dude, if I was a good leader, I'd have a massive team. Yeah. And if I had a massive team, I'd already be a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
I can't seem to fucking find a good team.
Yeah.
People are like, what do you mean? Well, good. I mean, wouldn't a good leader be able to attract a good team?
Yeah. If you listen,
like Grant Cardone, he built a good team. He has a good team of people around him. Right. Andy Elliott, he has a great team of people around him. You start looking at all these people that are freaking crushing it. Guess what? They got freaking a team of people around them. Sometimes I'll get on Zoom calls with somebody in their team, and their team's intelligent looking.
Yeah.
And they're intelligent sounding.
Yeah.
And they're capable.
Right.
Seemingly.
Yeah.
I always think, why can't I get a team like that? Like, why get my team on the phone and I'm like, don't listen to that fucking idiot. Hey, that's not right. No, don't listen to him. Right. They're like, well, that's why you can't get a team. I'm like, see, that's a shitty leader.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I'm working on it.
Good. Because that's again, the humor, but there may be some truth to that. And
No, I got some good team members. Yeah. I just can't find, I think the ones that I want are working for themselves.
Yeah.
I think my caliber of what I want, you're not getting them.
Right.
Why? Because they're that level. Like I want a chief marketing officer that knows how to blow up businesses. Well, a chief marketing officer that knows how to blow up businesses or that have their own businesses that are blowing up. So guess what? You got to just stop wishing and start freaking doing.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm now getting really good at marketing. You know, I'm getting good at marketing to the point where, again, I'm starting to like think maybe I should fucking go back to work.
Yeah.
Now that I know what I'm doing. And that's what I'm about to do. So keep your eyes peeled. You'll see. I think you'll see it. But again, my social media and everybody's social media for that matter, unless it's fake, is somehow dwindling. Instagram's algorithms, I used to reach 15, 20 million people a month. Now I'm reaching 3 or 4 million people a month. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, no one cares anymore. No one's interested in me anymore. Well, go look at Gary Vee. Go look at all the influencers. Same thing. Dan Fleischman, who's spent a lot of money for paid influencers. Right. He sees it with the Kardashians. He sees it with the like Kanye West. Like it's Instagram. So what do? You give up? No, you don't give up. You consistently do it, and you're the one that's standing at the end. Right. So if there's anybody out there listening to this right now, and you want to know the number one thing I've ever learned to help accelerate growth of my businesses is personal branding. Yeah. Dude, I can start a business right now with a phone swipe up. If you said, Brad, let's start selling these trailers. And I said, okay. And I started swiping up. I'll start this trailer business at a profit. As long as you know where to get them and, you know, it's a good deal and we're not screwing anybody. Yeah. And I start talking about it. Boom, 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 boom. We'll start selling them. So, I mean, the personal brand will blow up your business. The personal brand will get you deal flow. It'll start connecting you with relationships, which is the key. Right. And again, if you guys don't understand what I said, this whole thing, go back and listen again. Yeah. Because sometimes I say it so simply, it goes right over their head. Yeah. What's the most important thing in the world? If you were listening, I wish we could have live quiz tests, see if they were listening. Were you listening? Yes. What's the number one most important thing?
Number one most important thing is taking care of yourself first.
Well, specifically what I
mindset.
No. You know? Anybody?
The branding?
No.
Skill set, mindset.
No.
I
already tried that one.
The most important thing that I think everyone should be really aware of and focus on.
Yourself.
Your health.
Your health.
But self is kind of, that's the first relationship you need to worry about.
Right. Yeah.
But dude, your health, man. Like wake up and focus on your health. That means stop fucking drinking all day. Right. Stop screwing up your health. If you smoke cigarettes still to this day, you're a fucking idiot. Right. And again, I know people that smoke, and if they're listening, I say you're an idiot, dude. You're inhaling chemicals and smoke into your body, and you are risking your health. Don't risk your health. Focus on it, because what you focus on grows. So your health is most important. Most people listening to this, if they just said, I got to start focusing on my health a little bit better, and they just shifted their health, which is their habits and what they're eating and what they're doing and raising their heart rate, dude, they just improved their life greatly. Yeah. But then it's your relationships, because relationships is where money comes from. And it's what matters when you're dying. If you're dying and your health is gone, you're worried about relationships. If you got a doctor call that said, hey, buddy, you got some bad news. You got like 6 months. Yeah. I promise you, this trailer and interviewing me and nothing that you think matters. Not fast. You'll be like, none of that shit matters. Right. What will matter to you? Her, kids. You'll be focused on relationships, spending time with family. Right. You won't care about you. Well, you don't have any money. I don't care. Yeah. We can be in my 1-bedroom apartment. It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. None of that shit matters. Right. So relationships. And then the last one is money. Because money does matter. And people don't know that either. They pretend that it doesn't. They want to say, you're a bad guy if you focus it. No, dude, money matters. Yeah. So in my book, and it's just my book, health, relationships, money. That's the 3 that you need to focus on in the categories of importance. Right. Now, when it comes to what I was saying, mindset, skill set, habits, That's how you break it down to what, like, why am I not winning in life? Dude, go look at your mindset. Really study it and see if it's where it needs to be. If it's not, that's more than likely your problem. And then if it's not your mindset, well, then it's probably your skill set. You're not very good. You got to get good.
Right.
You're going to suck until you don't. Most people do.
Yeah.
Then if it's not your skill set, well, then look at your habits.
Right.
So again, like, hey, I'm not where I want to be. Okay. Is it my mindset? No. Is it my skill set? No. Is it my habits? No. Well, what could it be? I guarantee you it's one of those three. Period. Anyone can do it once they realize that they're the ones that have to do it. Like, this podcast is not going to do it. This podcast might cause you to do it.
Right.
But dude, the individual has to decide. And once you decide, then you have to commit and do the work. And that's, again, where a lot of people fail, because we rationalize why maybe we didn't really want that anyway. Like, do I want a 6-pack or not? Because it's not that hard.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about right now, what am I going to go eat? And when I think to myself, plain chicken breast, no, I do not want plain chicken breast. Well, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
That's what you get. Do you want the abs or not? Because, dude, how do you get abs? That's how you get them.
Yeah.
You got to eat clean as hell. You got to go bust your ass at the gym. You got to put in that freaking work.
Right.
And then you're going to get the 6-pack. And some people do and some people don't. And why do some people get the 6-pack and some people don't? Because some people eat the chicken breast and do the damn work and some people don't. It's that simple. It's not more difficult than that. It's my thyroid. It's not your thyroid, bro.
Right.
You might have to put more time in at the gym, but it's the same formula.
Right.
How did I make a bunch of money, but you haven't? Well, you haven't done what I did. So what did I do? Aha, there's the trick. Figure out what you want to do. Figure out who already did it, and then go do what they did. And when I say it took me 8 years to get past negative, who's going to spend 8 years getting past negative?
Not many people.
Dude, I was told for 8 years it wasn't going to work. I was told for 8 years I was stupid. 8 years I believed, no, this is what's happened. I was just ahead of my time. And then 8 years, bro, I was, when you said you didn't have money, I was down on my car payments. I was behind on child support 2-3 months at a time, to where my ex-wife would chase me down the street. I had to pull into the fucking police station so she wouldn't like follow me anymore. Yeah. And she followed me into the police station. And the police would come out and she was like, "He owes me child support." The cop looked at me like, "Dude, I am so sorry." And I'm like, I'm going to get it to her. Yeah. He's like, "Ma'am, calm down. Like, this is all you have to do is go file this and this and that." Right. And then the cop finds out, "Well, I just missed my child support by a week." Yeah. He's like, "Well, he's saying he's going to get it to you, ma'am." Yeah. 8 years of that. Most people would say, "You know what? This ain't working. I'm going to go do something else." Right. Who's willing to sacrifice? I don't know. And by the way, how did I do it? And then we'll end it if you want, because what has it been, a 9-hour podcast?
Yeah, 9.5, but I'm loving it.
Here's how I did it. Yeah. I believed in every ounce of my body that everything was going to change within 90 days. Like, one day I'm going to write a book. It's going to be called "How Do You Get Anything You Want in 90 Days?" But the days will be spelled DAZE. Because I literally believed, foolishly, that everything was going to change in 90 days. And I've been drunk longer than that. Like, that's not that long. Yeah. So I just, man, 90 days from now. So I just kept going, because in 90 days, dude, I'll be through this. Yeah. And in 90 days, I wasn't through it, but I believed that it was only 90 more days. Yeah. And I wasn't through it. And if you asked me 3 years into it, dude, I thought it was 90 days, and I'd say it is. Yeah. I am 90 days away, bro. Yeah. Check back in 90 days. And every single 90 days, I honestly and foolishly believed I was 90 days away. And that's why I tell people, if you really want it, dude, you got to freaking look down, bust your ass for 90 days, look up. If you're not where you want to be, look back down, bust your ass for 90 days, look up, If you're not where you want to be, look back down, bust your ass for 90 days, look up, and just keep repeating that cycle. And during one of those 90-day cycles, you'll get where you want to go. And that's how you get anything you want in 90 days. It could be the 74th, 90th, 90 days.
Right.
Because that's what it was for me. Dude, it was 8 years.
Yeah.
Then I started making money. Then everybody said, oh, shit, I knew you were going somewhere. I'm like, you dick. You didn't say that 8 years ago.
Right. Yeah. No,
But anyway, hope that helps all these listeners that you have.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have. You said 8 episodes?
8 episodes.
Dude, you got to get to 80 quick.
Okay.
I'd start releasing them. Pop, 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 pop. And when you don't have any, dude, sit down. Talk to her.
Yeah.
Talk to him. Matter of fact, everybody always asks, who's my favorite episode? My favorite episode is I interviewed my handyman.
Oh, yeah.
His name's Johnny.
Yeah.
Dude, it was the best. And he's like, you talk about what not to do, that's what you don't do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would just set people down, and now I'm going to start doing them myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wonder, like, well, what do I say? Dude, like I said, have someone go and talk about, write down 10 of the top things that are going on and give your opinion on it and talk about it.
Okay.
And then just slap them out there, bang, bang, bang. And you watch, one of those will go, whoa. And then pretty soon you'll be like, someone will be like, well, how did you do it?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, dude, I just started freaking throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah.
Because that's really all it takes is content.
Yeah.
I just give you ideas on how to create it without having to think it up, because you are the content.
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize that, you're you 24 hours a day. So you should have 24 hours of content. The only time I don't have a camera on me is the bedroom and the bathroom, because I don't want to trend number 1 on Pornhub. So I keep the camera out of there.
I hear you.
Other than that, dude, there's a camera on me. You're like, where's your camera here? Again, I'm in Nashville, bro.
Yeah.
Nick says, hey, you need a camera guy? I should have said yes.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just chilling while I'm out here. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm off.
Yeah.
Which is the wrong attitude to have. I need to like treat out here just like out there.
Yeah.
Because out there I am working a little bit more.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing that. I look forward to
Does
seeing
this work for you? Where do you go after this?
We're headed back to the house after this. So
To do what?
Go through this, edit the show for tomorrow, and make sure it's ready.
You're retired too, ain't you?
Pretty much. Pretty much. I need to start working a lot more. That's fact.
Dude, I asked somebody the other day. He asked, how do you build the brand? I'm coming out to your event. I said, okay, I'll tell you when you get there. He said, no, just tell me some shit like right now. What do you do? And I says, well, you got to get a camera guy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to freaking, start doing this, and that. And he says, well, I get a camera guy, but I don't really do anything. And I said, there's the problem.
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't doing anything. You got to do something. You got to go out and do something. He goes like, what do you mean, dude? I'm retired. I don't really do anything. I said, dude, you got to go do something.
Yeah.
He said, like what? I said, like call up ex-girlfriends, fight with them. I don't know.
That'd be a good show.
Dude, people will watch that shit. Like go down to the strip and interview people.
Yeah.
Go build a business from scratch and tell them, I'm going to build a business from scratch and I want you to watch this journey, and then build a business and film the whole entire thing. Opening the bank account, read all the problems that come with it, all the customers you got to deal with, like film it all. It could take 4 years to have something. But dude, I guarantee you that's how you do it. And if someone would just say, dude, I blindly will believe this, dude, that's what it is. Now, once you start getting some money, like Mr. Beast, he'll spend $1 million or more creating content.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can get viewers very quickly that way as well. But a lot of people don't have that kind of money.
Right.
But if someone asks me, I have that kind of money, what do I do? Go buy a freaking Ferrari, film the whole thing, and then go give it to a homeless person.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get millions of views.
Yeah.
You'll get very known very quickly if you give money away. It's crazy. Like go do crazy ass shit that you'll get followers quick that way.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Jake Paul and all these influencers.
Mm-hmm.
When you really realize what they're filming, what are they doing? They're in a private jet. They're going to exclusive parties. They're on yachts. They're doing all this lifestyle shit, and that brings them in by the droves.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is most people can't afford that.
All right.
So how do you do it otherwise? We'll come to my May 10th event and I'll show you.
That's it. That's it, Brad. Thank you so much for your time today.
My
brother.
pleasure, man.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me.
This has been awesome.